Pope Francis is no longer with us. On April 21, 2025, the Vatican shared the heartbreaking news of his passing at the age of 88, after a long struggle with health issues, including a severe case of double pneumonia that kept him in the hospital for 5 weeks earlier this year. His last public moment came just one day before his death, on Easter Sunday, when he blessed the crowds in St. Peter's Square from his Pope-mobile.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, buona Pasqua.
A frail man, yet still a beacon of hope. His death has left the world in mourning, but for Palestinians, the loss cuts deeper. Pope Francis was their champion, a leader who fought for the children of Gaza with every ounce of his strength. Yet, time and again, Benjamin Netanyahu ignored him, turning a blind eye to the Pope's pleas for peace and humanity. Francis's heart bled for the children of Gaza, caught in the crossfire of Israel's brutal military campaign from 2023 to 2025. In his 2024 Christmas address, he spoke words that shook the world. He called the bombing of Palestinian children cruelty, not war. He refused to sugarcoat the truth, pointing out the deaths of thousands of innocent kids as a stain on humanity. Over 43,000 Palestinians were killed by late 2024, according to Gaza's health ministry, many of them children, and Francis couldn't stay silent. He demanded an end to the violence, urging Israel to let humanitarian aid flow into Gaza, where families were starving, where kids were dying for lack of medicine. But Netanyahu ignored him, enforcing blockades that kept food, water, and supplies out of Gaza, even as the Pope's voice grew louder. One of Francis's most powerful gestures came in 2024, when he dedicated the Vatican's nativity scene to Gaza. He placed baby Jesus on a keffiyeh, a traditional Palestinian scarf, as a symbol of solidarity with the suffering children of Bethlehem and beyond. It was a quiet but piercing statement, a reminder that the Holy Family too would have been victims of such cruelty today. Palestinians saw this and wept, knowing they had a friend in the Vatican who truly cared. Yet Netanyahu ignored this too, continuing his campaign without a hint of remorse, even as the world watched in horror. Francis didn't just speak from a distance. He reached out personally, showing a level of care that was rare for any leader. He made near-daily phone calls to the Holy Family Church in Gaza, the only Catholic parish there, where both Christians and Muslims sought shelter from the bombs. Even while he was battling illness in the hospital, he called to pray with them, to share their pain, to give them hope. Father Gabriel Romanelli, the parish priest, said those calls were a lifeline for a community on the brink, with no food, no water, no safety. Francis, at 88 years old, put the children of Gaza first, even as his own health failed. But Netanyahu ignored these cries, refusing to stop the airstrikes that tore families apart. The Pope's words grew sharper as the violence continued. In 2023, after an airstrike on Gaza's Greek Orthodox Church killed 18 civilians, Francis called it terrorism. When 2 Palestinian women, Nahida and Samar Anton, were killed, he labeled their deaths acts of terror, not war. In 2024, he suggested Israel's actions might be genocide, calling for the world to investigate. Each time, Netanyahu ignored him, dismissing the Pope's demands for a ceasefire, rejecting any accountability. On X, people called it arrogance. Netanyahu acting as if he was above morality, above humanity, while Francis stood firm for justice. Despite his efforts, the violence didn't stop. Netanyahu's refusal to listen meant Gaza's children kept suffering, with no end in sight. But Francis's voice gave Palestinians hope. When he died, they mourned him as a true ally. Bethlehem pastor Munther Isaac said, Francis's love for Gaza's children was unmatched, a light in their darkest days. Now, as the world awaits a new pope, we're left with a challenge. Will we honor Francis's fight for Gaza's children? Netanyahu always ignored him, but we cannot. Let's stand for Palestine, for humanity, in the name of a pope who never gave up.